Hello and welcome to GWD Games, and this is the part 1 of Elite Dangerous tutorial, the basics. I thought I'd start a tutorial series on this game, considering how ridiculously complex the gameplay is. Now I played the original back in '84, so I know the premise of what you've got to do and what you can do and can't do, etc. And even that said, it's still taken me quite a while to get things going and suss out all the new controls and new things in the game. So, hence tutorial. Right, we'll start off with the basics. I highly recommend going through the tutorial scenarios in game. That will give you the basics of flying around, a little bit of combat, getting used to your controls. And speaking of controls, I would highly recommend a joystick. I've tried using mouse and keyboard, just couldn't get the hang of it. Now I know some people use game controllers. Now, yeah, that's fine. If I've never been one for game controllers, unfortunately. So out came the old joystick. So that's what I've got on there. And obviously there's lots of keyboard controls as well as the joystick controls. Right. First things first. We've got your basic display there, looking out over Azeban Orbital. This particular beta version, this is where you started the game in the Sidewinder. Now I've gone back to the Sidewinder. I have been flying around and upgrading the ship, etc. Going from a hauler. I've had an Eagle, Viper, a Lakon Type 6 transporter. And Cobra. I haven't managed quite to get enough funds together to get the other ships yet, but I hope to do that before long. Right, the basics of the displays. Bottom left, quite simply, that's where you are at the moment. It's telling you just a quick summary of the government system, which system you are actually in, what the government type is like, and what the system I suppose economics are. This particular system is agricultural. You'll get high tech, you get extraction, refineries. It'll give you some clue to the what to trade with them a bit later on in the tutorials. Next, along to the right, is the display of what you have currently targeted. Now at the moment it's just showing the planet, but if I see if I can find, there we go, right, it's one of my joystick keys is assigned to target the frontmost ship or item. That happens to be the orbital station, and there we are, we can see the orbital station. If there was a ship on there, it would give us the ship details, and it would also, in fact, there is one just coming out of the space station there. Now I don't think I'm going to be fast enough. I don't know whether you can see it there. If I could catch up to that, we could lock onto that one and have a look. It might be worth seeing if there is another ship around in order for me to try and... there we go, you see there's one just flying in now. Just wondering whether we can get that one. I don't know whether we're going to be fast enough to do that. Let's just zoom past here and just cruise past, and you will see exactly what I mean. Just do a flyby there. Right, let's slow down. Right, the crosshairs have come on there now, so if I target that, it's saying scanning. Right, okay, that's Stuart Bell. The left hand side is telling us it is a Sidewinder. He's mostly harmless, and his wanted status is clean. The display we were just talking about, the next one up, is showing the picture of the Sidewinder, and there are 3 blue rings. Those are his shields. If I was to start shooting him now, which wouldn't be recommended as we're just by the space station, then we would get blasted out of the sky. Right, he's gone off now because he's gone into land. As you can see, he's on the landing pad there. Now, if we can find another one, we'll go back to that display. But the most important part of the dashboard is the central area, the scanner. Think of it as it's the circular, well, it's a spherical region round your ship being that triangle in the middle. Now, I've got a couple of white dots on there, one about the 10 o'clock position and one about the 6 o'clock position. That's telling me that because it's white, I know it's not a ship, it is something else apart from a ship. Now, I'm just moving round. Probably not. Ah, there we are. Now that has come up with that strange looking white schematic, second from the left on the display. That was a frameshift drive wake, or a hyperspace wake. Basically, when a ship goes into hyperspace, it leaves a description behind that can be scanned, and we can now tell where that ship has gone, which would be very handy if you're hunting somebody down and they jump for it. Right, now I'm whizzing back around. Now there's another ship coming in now. There we are, another Sidewinder. And right, we can see he's got his full shields, as we were talking about before. Below that, which I was trying to show you before the ship disappeared off the scanner, is his hull percentage, and obviously he's got no damage and he's at 100%. Now, going back to the main display, I've got this Sidewinder targeted, and as you can see, the dot directly ahead of my ship has some little greater than less than signs around it. That's telling me that that's the particular one I have got in my sights. Now he's going to disappear when he lands on pad 3 there. Let's just spin it round. There we go, he's disappeared. Now, I'm just looking for another contact. The two contacts above me and to the left, they are both squares as well, or rectangles if you like. They're telling me that their hard points aren't deployed, i.e. the weapons. The one directly ahead of me, which is actually the space station, is triangular. Normally, the triangular symbol means that the hard points are deployed, so you can tell the difference. During combat, these will change colour as well. So, for example, if somebody starts attacking us or we attack them, it will turn red, so we know that that is our current enemy. As the person is attacking you, it will also flash white as well as being red. So at all times, that display is telling us what is going on, so it's very important. You can also zoom in and out of that display. Now, the keys assigned to that are page up, page down. Now, if you watch underneath that display, there is a little dot, and it's moving to the right. There we go, and I'm moving it back to the left. Now, as I joined the game, it was fully to the left. I found the perfect position for myself is in the middle position. It just gives me a bit more range without zooming out too far, so it gets a little bit muddled. I can still tell where ships are, whether they're above or below me, with a bit more definition than being fully zoomed out, but it gives me the range as well, so it's a good compromise. Okay, on the outer edges of that display, we've got some information about your ship. The left hand is the current heat signature. For example, if I speed up and then I boost, you can see that that's gone up to 64, so now after I've stopped boosting, the temperature starts to come down again. Now that has a direct, that is directly proportional to how well other people can see you on their scanners. So if we went into some of the other controls and turned off some equipment, we could get that down to 0, and effectively we would disappear off people's scanners. Now that's very handy for sneaking about. I do believe there's one of the tutorials on that within the game, so do go visit those. They are very helpful at getting the hang of things, like I said before. Now to the right hand side, I don't know if you were watching, you might have seen the movement on that screen, on that instrument rather. As I throttle forward, you'll see the line move up, and you'll see the number go up as well as the bar. The number in the bar is the actual speed, and the line is where I've set the throttle. Now, where I've set it at the moment, you'll see it's gone blue, and it's right in the middle of that little blue section. That is what's called the sweet spot for maneuverability. So, if I turn off the throttle, or just a tiny little bit of throttle, and I start to move round, the turn rate, it's not fantastic. Okay, if I put the speed on so that it's in the middle of the blue, the turn rate is a lot more. If I throttle all the way up, then as you can see the turn rate goes down again. So that blue area is the area of greatest maneuverability, which can be very handy. If you lose track of that, now I did not mean to put those hard points out. I must have caught my fire button, which I keep doing on this joystick, so it's a good job I didn't press it again, otherwise that would have been right at the space station and the tutorial would have taken a different turn. Okay, right, next section is where it says on just to the right of the main scanner is your ship status, the shields and the hull. As you can see, we have 3 blue rings, meaning the shield is fully charged, and the barrel on the bottom is at 100%, meaning our hull is perfectly okay. That will go down as you get attacked. Now, to the right of that, there are 3 bars headed Sys, Eng and Weapons. That's System, Engine and Weapons. Now that's where the energy recharging is directed to. The RST is short for reset, and those 4 items correspond to your 4 cursor keys or arrow keys. So for example, if I press the left hand one, I get one more little dot or blip towards system, which isn't incidentally is shields, is the main thing that charges up. As you notice, it's taken one blip, well, it's taken half a blip away from engines and half a blip away from weapons. Now, this is quite important when you are in the middle of a battle, whether you want charge to your shields, do you want charge to your weapons, or do you want charge to your engines? And that will vary depending on what you're doing. As you go into an attack run, your shields are going to be fully charged. You might want the engines on full. As soon as you start firing, you might need to put some more onto the weapons. If you get into the position where your shields are starting to get diminished, you might want to put some more on the system to charge the shields up. And again, if you're finding you're getting a bit hammered, you basically run away. You'll need maximum power to the engines, so you will have to get the hang of managing the power while you're in the middle of a battle, and maybe firing 2 different types of weapon depending on what's happening. So again, use the tutorials. There's some very good ones about how to manipulate the power. But we will be doing some more in the tutorials about that as we get a bit more advanced. Furthest to the right, we have the fuel indicator, whether we're mass locked, landing gear and cargo scoop. Landing gear is easy. If I press insert, which is the standard key for landing gear, my landing gear goes down. Press it again, goes up, and you can see the info on the top right hand corner telling us just that. Same with the cargo scoop. If I press the end key, I press the home key rather, cargo scoop is deployed. Now, one little thing I recommend is change the definition for ejecting cargo. It was set by default as end, and for some reason I've got a mental block between home and end for the cargo scoop. The amount of times I have scooped some cargo up, gone flying around, found some more cargo to scoop, went to deploy the cargo scoop and pressed end, and it basically ejected the cargo. It's very annoying, let's say. So I redefined that one, so I have to eject the cargo via the menu systems and the display rather than pressing a key now. Much easier. The other thing on the right hand side is the mass locked lamp. Now you can see that that is lit up blue at the moment. That means we can't use the jump drive because we are too close to something massive, i.e. the space station. So we would have to travel away from the space station. That light would go out. We can then either enter jump drive or we can go into hyperspace. I'll show you the difference between those two things in a moment, but essentially hyperspace is system to system, jump drive is in system, faster than light travel. It's just a way of being able in game to move around a system in real time rather than it taking what would be weeks to get from one planet to another if that was the case, if this was true to life. Excuse me. There's a fuel usage indicator which I haven't really found a use for yet. The most important bit is the little readout underneath where it says fuel. That is actually your fuel level. At the moment I've got a full tank, so I'm fine. The other little thing is that little line above it, which looks like a little well, it looks like a voice readout, like an oscilloscope. That will light up wanted. Well, that's where it tells you if you are wanted or not. It will light up red. I do believe that the animation there does tell us something, and I believe, and people can leave a comment to tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it is the amount of, well, it's not noise you're making, it's the amount of heat that you're giving off, I believe. So I just wonder if we boost away, yes, there we go. It becomes a bit more choppy. Does that line? It's almost like the sound I'm making is louder, but it's not sound, of course. It'll be my heat signature. So as I slow down again, so where's the space station? There it is. Yeah, as I've slowed down, it settles down to not moving around very much. So, but yeah, people can correct me on that if I'm wrong, because it's only something I've just realised recently. Actually, is that one? Right, that's the main display. What we also have are the side displays. Now, if I press my middle mouse button, I can look around the cockpit, and you can sort of admire the controls, etc. Not quite sure what that is. It's maybe a lunchbox, maybe, I don't know, sandwiches in there. But what we have got is these side displays that appear there and there. Now, I prefer using by pressing the buttons. If I press number 1, it's a slightly more zoomed in view and it doesn't move around. This is the navigation and missions menu. Can I use the mouse on this screen? No, I can't. What we've got there is, if you look near the bottom left hand corner, we can go to the galaxy map and the system map. I won't go to the galaxy map. I'll show you the galaxy map now. Yeah, basically that's where we are. We are at Iranin. The system map is the same as pressing system view here. Is it going to come? There we go. There we are. That's the sun and the various planets. These are the space stations. We are currently at that one, I believe. Yep, Azeban Orbital. Gives us a little rundown of what's there. Excuse me. Right, come out of that. Back to the galaxy map. Now, if I zoom out, we can get an idea of scale. We are currently in beta. We can operate within this pill or capsule shaped region, which has 500 and odd systems in it, I believe. That's a fair number. I keep zooming out, and I'm zooming out, and zooming out, and zooming out, and zooming out, and zooming out. Unbelievably, we are going to be able to visit every single one of these systems. I've heard it said that there are over 400 billion systems. Now, I don't know how long it's going to take somebody to travel any significant distance, say towards the centre or up one of these spiral arms, but that is a lot of systems. How on earth, pardon the pun, have they managed to do that? How have Frontier managed to do that? It's absolutely incredible, is this game. Okay, we go back to this menu now. Right, so that's the Galaxy Map System map. If I press my right cursor, which I'm using WASD to manoeuvre around, we can see the different things we can target and then therefore navigate to within the system. Now at the moment, that little blue dot is showing us that we are locked on that one there. That's where we are. If I wanted to go to the Azeban City, which is the space station in a slightly higher orbit to this planet, which is Azeban, I press spacebar. I get the option to lock or lock and super cruise. Super cruise is the jump drive I was talking about before, which is the in-system drive. Now, let's just lock. So I've hit spacebar, press 2, go back to the main screen. The little display to the top right of the main scanner in the middle is now showing us where we need to position ourselves to line up to that target we have just selected. So I need to bank to the left, so I've got it in the vertical plane, and then if I if I just go up there we go, that is now showing us there's Azeban City. Now, I'm going to throttle up, and I'm going to press J, which is jump drive. Now, it's come back saying frame shift cancelled, mass locked. Now that's that blue light in the right hand side. We've got to keep speed on until that, there we are, till the light goes out. I can now press J. Now that message there saying that we've been inhibited means that there are still there's something still massive around, which means that the drive charges slower, but it doesn't actually do it. Okay, we're in jump drive now, as denoted by the vertical lines to the left and right of the display. You can see them slowly moving out from the middle to the edges of the screen. The faster we go, the faster those lines go. At the moment, if you look at the speed reading on the to the top right of the scanner, it's slowly increasing. We've not made it anywhere near the speed of light yet, but I don't think we're going to do it right. I'm going to throttle back because it is very close to this. When that gets to below 1 million, I can press J again, like now, and it says destination lock engaged, and here we go. We have arrived at Azeban City's space station. Now, I go back to number 1 screen, and this time I'm going to select Azeban Orbital and lock that. It's showing it is directly behind us. If I just zoom round, there we go, there's the planet, a bit further away, and the orbital has disappeared from view. That's where we were before. So that was a very, very short journey, just to highlight the in-system jump drive, or the frame shift drive. Okay, back to this screen. Now, there is some other tabs on here. I use Q and E to get to them. First one is missions. You get to those within the space station system when you're docked. You can pick up missions to do. Some involve just taking messages, some involves moving cargo around, some involves going out finding cargo from another system and bringing it back. You'll be paid for these missions, and it's the best way, well certainly with Beta 2, to earn the credits. They originally on Beta 1 the trading system was the best way. There weren't that many missions around. Now that's changed. Who knows what it's going to be like in Beta 3, which is out in I think a couple of weeks' time, or about a week and a half, and then full release, who knows what's going to be the best way. But certainly missions are going to be there, trading is going to be there, obviously. They're the two ways you're going to make some money to start with. I think that's going to be the normal way. Next one in, we've got contacts. That will list any ships that we can see around. At the moment, there's not that many. So if we just spin round again now, right, can we see any? I think they're all inside. Oh, there's a few ships there. If I just get a bit closer, boost, I can see some contrails. Not really contrails, are they? But you know what I mean. Right, okay, we've got some ships coming on there now. That's probably the in-system police, I'm guessing. There we go, yeah, Eagle is a system authority vessel. Right, I'll just slow down again now, so I know I'm not going to hit anything. I go back to this contact, there we go, we have now got a system authority vessel, and Eagle, which that's the one it's not identified. Again, like the planets, oh there we go, well, one's disappeared. Like the planets, we can hit this. Is it not going to let me lock onto that one? No, it's not going to let me lock onto that one. Oops. Okay, never mind. One thing you will need to know, if we want to dock at the space station that we're now at, I have to find it on this contacts sheet here, on this contacts tab. Press the space bar and I want to request docking.
Request granted.
There we go. It's been granted and we're being told to proceed to landing pad 42. And we've got 9 minutes 48 seconds left to do that. I won't do that just yet. I'm just going across here. Oh, some more ships have just arrived. If I press space bar, you'll see the greater than and less than signs appear next to them. That means they lock on. For example, that one now, I'm locked on to this Lacon Type 9, flown by Burnell. Now, if I come back here, actually, it's right in front of us. He's just going into the space station now, just going through the docking hatch. He'll be disappearing off there soon. Let's go onto that Cobra there. Right, as you can see, below the picture of the Cobra, it's actually scanning it, so it will bring up some details in a moment about that. But what we can do, oh, he's disappeared. Contacts, no, it's not going to tell us. The next tab along, sub-targets, basically that will list the components of the ship. For example, we could have locked onto that Cobra. It would have listed the various things like frameshift drive, thrusters, engines, power couplings, all the different components of the ship, and we could then sub-target those. Very handy if you want to knock out some particular part of the ship without just generally blasting the thing to bits and blowing it up. Let's see if we can scan one of these sub-targets. It's not going to let us get onto the sub-targets. We'd have to find a non-system authority ship by the looks of it. And again, we can lock onto a ship, and if we've got a cargo scanner, we can get some details about the cargo that he's carrying. So when we perform the cargo scan, the details will be in there. Right, that's that left-hand menu. There is also the item, menu number 4 on the right-hand side. This is showing us the status, our own status. So as myself, Commander Steve Greenwood. Healthy bank balance, a little bit better than the 1,000 credits starting money. Rank seems to be all harmless at the moment. I don't think that's increasing yet. Tell me if I'm wrong, but mine has not increased. I did have something like 196 kills at the start of Beta 2. It's carried the kills forward. I've now got 236, yet I'm still harmless. Maybe I haven't got enough to move up. I don't know. I can't seem to find what the bands are. And local bounty at the bottom there. I haven't got a bounty on my head at the moment. Modules. Okay, this is where we can control the power of the ship. This can be well, could be subject to a whole tutorial session on its own, but basically we can turn things on and off, and we can assign a different priority. So if we ran out of power, or for example I can turn the power plant off. No, I can't. Where are we? Which one can I turn off? I can turn the life support off, for example. There we go. It's telling me the oxygen is going to be depleted in 4 minutes 54 seconds. I shall go turn that back on. I could turn the power distributor off. Again, that's going to have... what exactly has that done? Don't think it's done anything, has it? Let's turn it back on. Basically, you can turn the power off for various things, and I say assign priority. So, for example, if we had upgraded weapons, upgraded drives, etc., etc., which drew too much power, and I have had this, I've put some extra weapons on the ship. When I've deployed them, the drive went offline, so I couldn't move, and what was happening was it was drawing too much power. We can start controlling all this with the priority. I will look into it more, and it will feature in a future tutorial. You probably don't have to worry about the screen too much when you first start. This screen, however, the fire groups, is very handy to know about. You put some new weapons on, you can assign them. Well, one, they don't get put in into a fire group themselves. You've got to come and put them in there. Two, you can have different weapons in different fire groups and cycle around if you're in the middle of a battle. And I think I've got the N key assigned to it for next. What I had on the Cobra, which had 4 hard points, I had 2 lasers, which lasers are better for knocking out shields, and on the other fire group I had 2 mini cannons, which are great against hulls, not so good against shields. Now, I did have them in separate fire groups. I then changed it over so that they were all in one fire group, but going down here, if I press space, there we go, I've assigned one pulse laser to primary and the second pulse laser to my secondary button. So now I've got 2 different buttons or triggers to activate the different weapons. So that was very handy for not having to swap fire groups, but be able to fire the 2 types of weapons independently, which so I could concentrate on the lasers for the shield and then the mini cannons for the hull. Moving on to the next screen, that will show us the current cargo capacity. I'm carrying 0 out of a maximum of 4 at the moment, and obviously it would list any that I was carrying in that area there. And functions. Within here it's showing us the ship, it's showing me my current jump range, which I'm assuming 7.56 is my current jump range and 7.79 is my maximum. Now, considering I've got no cargo, then I would have thought those would be the same thing. Obviously not, so there's something which is taking up some tonnage which is reducing that, I'm guessing. Again, anybody know exactly, then I'd be glad to be told what exactly the one in brackets is, so please leave a comment. On the right hand side we've got the faction at the top. Is for when you go in, well, certainly in beta, when you go into one of the conflict zones you can choose a side, and it will let you do that there. We can retract the landing gear, cargo scoop, as well as the key press assignments. We can do it here, so I can do the landing gear there, for example. Distress beacon. You could be in the middle of nowhere and essentially you've jumped into a system, there's no space stations, you can't refuel, we haven't got the ability to skim off the sun yet. I believe that's coming in one of the other versions. I've had to use it a couple of times, so basically you call for help, and the space equivalent of the AA or RAC, or the breakdown truck basically, comes and rescues you. Silent running. Now that is explained very well in one of the game tutorials. Excuse me, my voice is going. Basically, it shuts down the ship too, so it doesn't emit as much heat. Now, this has the effect of allowing you to sneak under people's sensors, but it also has the disadvantage of the heat building up within the ship. By all means, try it, and you will see what I mean. Ship lights, the landing lights. Flight assist. Now that turns the what is essentially Newtonian flight controls on and off. Normally you will have flight assist on and the ship will behave as if you are flying through atmosphere by the aid of the computer and the attitude thrusters. Turn that off, you basically have to, it's going to behave exactly like a real spacecraft would. You boost in one direction, you keep going in that direction. If you then kill the thrust, you keep going. You can then maneuver around, so you can basically point yourself backwards at an enemy, but be still going the other way, still in the same direction, and be shooting at him. It's very handy for some combat situations, but it takes some getting the hang of. Rotational correction. I've not actually had a play with that, so by all means, somebody leave a comment and tell me what that does. Pre-flight checks. Now, I believe when you first came into the game, it gave you a free pre-flight check menu, and you went in and just verified all your controls. Obviously, you can turn that back on. Some of the weapons are, rather than player controlled, let's say, they are turret weapons. They are automatic turrets, and you can choose whether those particular weapons fire forwards or in reverse. And then a couple of just little toggles for reporting detected crimes and reporting crimes against yourself as well. So obviously reports back to the system authority. So if somebody starts attacking you unprovoked, essentially you will automatically report that crime. So it's the equivalent of dialing, well, in the UK 999 or 911 in the US, etc. Don't know why. Would you want to turn that off? Don't know. Possibly some situations where you would. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, that is the basics of the control screens. Now, hope you have found that of some benefit. Part 2 will follow shortly. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do in part 2 yet, but if you found it useful, please subscribe. You'll obviously get notified when the new ones come out, and thank you for watching.